हरे कृष्ण वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शीला प्रभुपाद की जय, assembled devotees की जय। हरे कृष्णा, please accept my humble obeisances. This is Vinita Gandharvika welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sanga conference call. Thank you all of you for joining and chanting so beautifully. May I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Flavia from Georgia.
Hare Krishna, Flavia Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and chanting so beautifully. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirti Nastya.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining, giving your association and chanting so beautifully. 8th chapter, Mataji. It was very nice to hear from you. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Dandavat pranams to all the devotees here. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Sumi from Chennai, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sumi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your association. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and the assembled devotees. This is Revati from Atlanta, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Revati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your association early morning and mid-morning. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day, early morning, mid-morning, and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Srila Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasni Devadasya from Atlanta, and thank you, Kirtida Mataji, for the very beautiful chanting. Thank you, Vinita Mataji, for the warm welcoming.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. And thank you so much for your AA creation of today's poster. It's so beautiful, Mataji, for the past time. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Yeah, it's 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will read the quote and we'll wait for the prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sanga conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Ramgiridhāri Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat Madhya Khanda, 9th chapter, 156 to 168 verses. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today. A wonderful quote from Srila Prabhupada. 26th March. Krishna and Balaram, they are absolute truth. There is no difference between killing and loving. Those who were killed, they were also liberated from this material bondage. Now, these same two brothers have again descended as Sri Caitanya and Nityananda. Mayapur, March 26, 1975. It is, I think, for Gaur Purnima. I think Srila Prabhupada has quoted this. I feel like that. It is talking about Chaitanya and Nityananda. Hari Bol. Very beautiful quote for today. I don't see Prabhuji yet. We will pause the recording here. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. Otherwise, I will chant. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining and giving your valuable time and association this mid-morning and enlightening us on the topic of Chaitanya Bhagavat. I now hand over the call to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. So today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Madhya Khanda, chapter 9, text number 158 through 160, 156 through 168. This section is about the chapter where the Lord is having 21 hours of ecstasy. So we are in the section where Pulavicha Sridhara and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are having that conversation. We'll first read the verses and then go over some reflections. Text 156. Sridhara dekiya Prabhu prasanna hailam. Aisha bali dhai kiye lagilam. On seeing Sridhara, the Lord was pleased and called him, come, come. Vistara kariya acha mora aradhanam. Bahu janma mora preme kya jila jivanam. You have worshipped me so long. You have passed many lifetimes to obtain my love. Ei janme mora seva karila vistaram. Tomara kolaya annakai nirantaram. In this life, you have also served me so much. I always eat rice of your banana leaves. Text 159. Tomara hastera dravya kainu vistaram. Pasharila ama sange yei kaila uttaram. I have eaten many items obtained from you. You have forgotten your conversations with me. Verse 160 and 161. Yakana karile prabhu vidyara vilasam parama uddhata hena yakhana prakasham sei khale gura rupe shridarera sange kola kena vecha chale kahila bahurange. When the Lord manifested his pastimes as a scholar, he acted like a most arrogant person. Keeping his identity concealed, he enjoyed various pastimes with Sridhara on the pretext of buying banana leaves. Text 162. Pratidina Sridharera Pasharete Kiya Todam Kala Mula Kola Anena Kiniyam. The Lord daily visited Sridhara's shop and bought banana leaves, bananas, and banana stems. Text 163. Pratidhinachari Dhanda Kalaha Kariya Tabem Seki Naye Dravya Arda Mulya Dhiyam. He would daily quarrel with Sridhara for 2 hours and then buy his goods for half price. Text 164. Satyavadi Sridhara Yatartha Mulya Bhale Arda Mulya Diya Prabhu Nija Hasta Tole. Although truthful, Sridhara quoted a reasonable price. The Lord would take the goods at half price. Utiya Sridhara Dasa Kare Kadakadi Yehi Mata Sridhara Thakurera Turahudi. Then Sridhara would stand up, grab hold of the goods, and a tug of war would ensue. In this way, Sridhara and the Lord would show each other. Text 166. Prabhu Bale Kene Bhai Sridhara Pasam Piyaneka Tomara Artha Ache Hena Vashi. The Lord would say, "Oh brother Sridhara, why do you live like an ascetic when you have so much wealth?" Next 167. Amara hatera dravya laha ekakiyam etadina keyamina jani si iham. Why are you taking the goods from my hands? Don't you know yet who I am? Text 168. Parama Brahmaniya Sridhara Krudhanahi Ayavadana Dekiya Sarva Dravya Kadilaye. The most Brahminical Sridhara did not become angry. After looking at the Lord's face, he gave him all the goods. Om Jnana Timirangasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham Namahom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandam Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Today is a very auspicious day for all of us in India. Today is the day of Jagannath Mishra's feast, where Jagannath Mishra is celebrating the divine appearance of Nimai. It is explained the kind of happiness Nanda Maharaj had when Krishna appeared in Gokula. Nanda Maharaj literally gave so much of donations in the form of grains, land, gold, cows, feast to all the Brahmanas and people not only from the earthly planets, people from all the other heavenly planets also descended, taking different forms to come and take darshan of the Lord's appearance. The same thing happened in Nadia when Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Jagannath Mishra saw so many new people whom he had never seen before in his village nearby. So it is a great opportunity to talk about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental pastimes, which are divine, glorious, highly confidential, and transforming a person from conditioned state to a state of becoming a sincere sadhaka. So the current context that we are in is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to interact with Sridhara. Sridhara, whose house is in the same vicinity of Jagannath Mishra's house. If I have to tell about the current geography, if you have been to Mayapur, if you have been to Rajapur Jagannath temple, so Sridhara's house is just behind or beside Rajapur Jagannath's garden. It's very close. It's just hardly 2 minutes walking from Rajapur Jagannath temple. ISKCON devotees are working to develop that place and they are actually maintaining them. Sridhara's family life had been not so financially a settled arrangement. He lived a very poor financially and a very humble living. So much so that he used to stitch together all the torn clothes. He didn't have a house with proper roofs. He didn't have full-fledged belongings, which otherwise nowadays the Grihastha generally have. In spite of that, Sridhara, whose family business was selling items from banana tree. So he used to sell banana leaves, banana flower, banana stem. It used to be a customary or it used to be a routine that before Sridhara starts his shop, he used to visit Nimai's house. Out of his love for Nimai, he used to give Sachi Mata something every day. Either banana leaf or bananas or something he used to give them every day as a token of love. Then he would start his business. This year he had been doing it since Vishwambara as baby Nimai was there. So age-wise, Sridhara is elder to Nimai in this manifested pastime. Unlike everybody else in Nadia, he also had a very special love for Nimai because of his beauty, because of his very wonderful nature in terms of being very intelligent, highly knowledgeable, scholarly. So he would actually take Nimai's even the notorious nature in a very jovial manner. He used to respond and reciprocate with Nimai, never ever in a rude or a ridiculing manner. Even though we just read, Nimai would do some unrealistic transactions with Sridhara, because Sridhara had so much love for Nimai, he would be very generous to Nimai. It is not only that this was his nature with Nimai, otherwise also, Sridhara in his life led a very humble, simple, and a very straightforward living. He never had any wrong or bad intentions towards anyone. So we will churn this current context and learn 4 sets of lessons from this current context. This is one of my favorite pastimes, as I had mentioned in my earlier class, because of my dearest Guru Maharaj. Whatever little love and attachment I have for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his pastimes, it is all because of him and his blessings. Polavecha Sridhara's pastime can teach us so many lessons. We will limit ourselves to 4 today, but I'm sure other speakers would churn and reveal more nectar to all of you. The very first lesson that I want to churn out of this current context is about simplicity is Vaishnavism. This is the words of His Divine Grace Gaur Govinda Maharaj. This is the words of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. Many a times, the educated people, qualified, accomplished, so-called accomplished people, we have a different understanding of how am I supposed to lead my life in this world. But the more and more and more we hear Vaishnava Acharya's lives, the more a person like me get a warning saying that your conclusion about how we are supposed to lead this world is wrong. The general definition of today's living standard is tit for tat. You have to always be ready to counteract people's behavior to you. You should be so much shrewd that nobody is trying to quote unquote, take you for granted. Be so much intelligent, diplomatic to an extent that we will be able to maneuver ourselves amongst different quotients of people around us. These are all even instructions I have heard, seen devotees speaking as a strategy. With all due respects, with all humility, with utmost surrender, I would like to say that those are all wrong statements. We will come to a scenario of how do we handle them? How do we even, because then people have 1,000 practical things that, because of this, I was taken for a ride and this and that and so many things. We'll come to that. But let's understand the basic definition of Krishna consciousness, which is simplicity is Vaishnavism. What is that simplicity is Vaishnavism? Simplicity is directly referring to a person who is very transparent, simple in his dealings with others. Transparent here doesn't mean that we cannot have our own quote unquote personal private secrets. We may have to have some discreetness because we are fighting within ourselves. But when I deal with Vaishnavas in Tamil, there is a very nice proverb, a very nice saying. One of the Saivite saints used to say this: Ullondru vaithu uramondru pesuvar uravu kalavamai vendum. Which means, I do not want to associate with a person who keeps something within himself and behaves exactly differently to outside person. I never want to associate with such people. That's the translation of that, saying in Tamil. So simplicity means opposite of crookedness. A person who has vested interest, a person who is trying to accomplish his agenda over everything possible that is happening around his life. What to speak of that agenda have a Krishna consciousness dimension. Still, that non-simplicity distances us from Krishna. It's very challenging to even conceive this topic of simplicity because in our life, we are not simple. That is why Caitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Krishna consciousness is simple for simple-minded. And it is very difficult for those who are crooked. If I may say, simplicity in further easiest manner, simplicity is like the heart of a child. A 3-year-old, 5-year-old child who is still not polluted with so-called worldly ideologies. A small child. And the interesting part is, to be simple is the most complicated agenda as on today. And another most interesting thing is, we love to be with simple people. We always want to associate, to be with simple people. We would spend days after days. We do not mind, we will not feel any burden to be with simple people. We don't mind to do anything for a simple person. Because we know for sure that he would not take undue advantage of our being open and free and frank to them. The gloriousness of Krishna consciousness is to bring in simplicity, which means unwanted quotients that I have accumulated within my heart, thinking that they are important components for my sustenance in this world. They are all unnecessary baggage. And half of our Krishna conscious life goes in identifying them. The remaining half of our Krishna conscious life goes in trying to eliminate them. The reason Krishna consciousness is complicated, difficult for some of us is because of our crookedness in the heart. And we will see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conversation with Sridhara, we have seen Narshingadev's conversation with Prahlad Maharaj. We have heard Krishnikarbha's conversation with Dhruva Maharaj. We have heard unlimited pastimes in different places, different Vaishnava Acharyas' life. How the Lord has reciprocated for a simple bhakta. Sudama Vipra. They all had opportunities to demand, claim whatever they wanted. Pandavas, we can go on list different sets of people. For them, the Lord made an open offer. Nobody could have blamed them, questioned them if they had asked for when the Lord made an offer. Whether it was Prahlad Maharaj, whether it was Dhruva Maharaj, whether it was Pandavas, Sudama, whoever it may be, including our dearest Sridhara. If they had asked, because the Lord has made an offer, do you want? I want to give you something. I am pleased with you. I am elated. Never, not once. The Lord is insisting multiple times, please, I wish to give. I want to give. Because of their simplicity in their heart, they have definitely, got the highest wealth a person can have, which is making their heart as a residing place for the Lord. To each of them, whatever names I have listed, the offer, finally what they got, vis-a-vis what they would have asked or what they could have asked. They got the Lord Himself. If we had asked, probably we would have asked something limited or something material or something with time bound or whatever limited capacity. But when the Lord is giving Himself to Prahlada, the Lord gave Himself. Sudama, the Lord gave Himself. To Tukaram Maharaj, the Lord gave Himself. To Janabai, the Lord gave Himself. To Namdev, the Lord gave Himself. So many people, you can go on listing, especially in Maharashtra, Pandharpur and Vittalji's Bhaktas. If you discuss every Bhakta's pastimes, it's so wonderful. It is not just, this is unique of Gaudiya, thing. I'm sure Gaudiya is glorious, but I'm saying the heart of a Vaishnava is simple. Simplicity is Vaishnavism, which is not taught anywhere else, but only in the association of a simple Vaishnava. So the only way somebody can learn simplicity, the one and only way somebody can learn simplicity is to perform menial service to another simple Vaishnava. To see and search for a Vaishnava with simplicity in his heart is the foremost agenda for each and every one of us. Whose heart does not search anything for himself, whose heart searches for Krishna, and whose heart is for giving Krishna to others. Such person we should search for. Many people think simplicity is stupidity. Humility is cowardice. This is the definition of modern educated men. Sorry to say, modern educated devotees too. It will take a long time for us to relinquish that idea if we are going to stick on to that. So my first reflection here is, from this context, you see how Sridhara was exemplifying the quality of simplicity in his life. I would summarize simplicity in 4 components. There can be 400 associated with simplicity, but I will just list only 4 components which can attribute for somebody to become simple or to develop simplicity. Number 1, respect. Number 2, gratitude. Last classes I mentioned it, but I refer it in this context once again. Number 1, respect. Respecting everyone, everything in this world. If a person knows to respect and not disrespect anyone, anything for any time. In Caitanya Sikshamrita, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning about an interesting point on culture of respect. I have shared this in one of the earlier classes in Bhakti Sanga group. We can refer to Sri Madhvananda Prabhu's Culture of Respect series. Madhvananda Prabhu has given a series on a topic called Culture of Respect. There he is writing that as a devotee or as a gentleman, we should even learn to respect a cannibal. What to speak of a Vaishnava? So, respecting everyone, at no point in time we have the right to disrespect anyone. You can disobey, you can disassociate, but not disrespect. We will come to that point a little later. So, respect. Second is being grateful, which means you are constantly thinking about all those who have helped you and being grateful to them, being indebted to them. And number 3, which makes a person being very simple, is about his nature of ready to ask for forgiveness and ready to forgive, which means a person who does not take offense and who is immediately ready to ask for forgiveness if the situation is situation demands, or if you see there is a possible misconduct. And the 4th, the most important one, is a person who is not envious of anyone. These are all very big words. Each of them demands their own definition. But the idea here is that simplicity has to be cultivated. Typically speaking, simplicity is something that should manifest for a practicing devotee as he is performing devotional service. But because we come from a very different background and we somehow believe that those ideologies can be applied. I can be diplomacy can be applied in Krishna consciousness. I can be little calculative. I can be little, in Hindi we call them as matlabi, which means I wanted to do things to accomplish some of my agenda. And we give them Krishna conscious reasoning. Oh, this is for pleasing my Gurudev. This is for glorifying the holy name. This is for spreading the preaching mission. I am not saying such attributes cannot be used, but they are supposed to be used by an extremely controlled environment, by an extremely talented devotee. Because even robbery can be used in Krishna's service. That doesn't mean that we all become robbers. Even dacoity can be used in Krishna's service. Doesn't mean we become dacoits. The general course of our growth in Krishna consciousness, which will attract everyone to Krishna consciousness. Today, some people are not getting attracted to Krishna consciousness because of our conduct as devotees. I can confess here that when I was early in my Krishna conscious days, when I was in my younger days in Krishna consciousness, I did a lot of funny things in my family, which definitely had, brought in bad name to ISKCON because of amateurish way of representing Krishna consciousness with arrogance, with ego, with pride. I know Krishna, I know Bhagavad Gita as it is. ISKCON is the correct movement. You are all in Maya. All funny behaviors. So my first reflection is simplicity is Vaishnavism. You will see further how Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is ready to give anything for Sridhara. Why Sridhara is part of this assembly? Not just because of anything, not because he was a neighbor, not because he gave bananas and banana stem in half price. Hand-picked candidates. These are all candidates who gets hand-picked. These are all the candidates who get recognized. We need not go and call out our name saying that I am here, I am there. The moment we are simple in our heart, we will get hand-picked by Krishna. Ambarish Maharaj, he was a Maharaj, he was a king, Maharaja, not a normal person. But when Durvasa Muni went in to offend him, how did he respond? So, a person who is simple, his perspective, his view of the world, the way he sees the surroundings, the situations, the people, their problems, their lifestyle, their activities is completely different. They are highly non-judgmental. They are simply those who will offer their respects, be grateful, and be always ready to see if there is anything that they have done wrong for things to go wrong. And never ever envious of them, which means they will be happy when the other person is happy and they will be sad when that person is sad. With such a mentality, immediately we are opening the floodgates of our heart for the Lord to enter. These four qualities, if somebody inculcate and they chant the holy name of the Lord will run and enter our heart. But to just cultivate these 4 qualities, takes a lot of time. This is my first reflection. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. The second reflection is the converse of this. Crookedness makes our spiritual life complicated. Crookedness refers to a person who is being self-centered in every activity, actions that he is doing. Whether it's in the name of Krishna consciousness or it is for somebody else. If a person is self-centered, if you want to be accomplishing something for him, he will go any extent to get things done for his favor. So crookedness makes us to learn. So a person who is crooked, there are 4 symptoms. You can recognize if you are part of that and try to really, work on them and eliminate. Number 1, a person who is crooked will always blame others for every problem. If you are a person who immediately blames, I will constantly think of how to blame somebody, in the sense that if something is questioned upon you, you'll blame someone else. Why this Rath Yatra, your service did not happen very well? Because that prabhuji came late, this mataji came late, that didn't go well. That person will never take responsibility. It's crooked. Because he doesn't want him to be, in the limelight or being in the receiving end. Number 2, the elder brother of blaming is fault finder. A person who is fault finder or judgmental. The so-and-so is like that because he's like that. Because of like, so they are already prejudiced. They are already prejudged about somebody, and half of the time their conversation is around them. Crooked. Will you put yourself in that shoes? And will you be able to, receive such a comment about someone? You will not be able to. But we will be very easily be able to pass some comments to others. This is a very important topic because these are all ethos of our Gaudiya Vaishnavism. You will see Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the entire Caitanya Charitamrita, Caitanya Bhagavata, and all these great, glorious, pastimes, compilation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It talks about few specific things: chanting of the holy name of the Lord and the Sankirtan mission, Vaishnava relationships, devotional service, and Sadachar qualities. The entire Chaitanya Charitamrita is around these topics. They are not talking about anything complicated. Even though Prabhupada says that this subject matter is a postgraduate studies. The reason he is calling it as postgraduate studies is because we have a lot of grounds to catch up. So blaming others, finding fault at others, a person who is used in Prajalpa and Gramya Katha. A Prajalpa and Gramya Katha are, some very vicious form of somebody being, self-centric because he would like to draw attention towards, himself, or try to keep the conversation as opinionated. Oh, this guy gives a lot of good opinion. Prajalpa is an immediate, direct form of showing how crooked are you. Because in half of the time, people, when they are doing Prajalpa, they will always attribute how they are not like that, how their family is not like that, how their generation is not like that, how their language is not like that, how their state is not like that. If you go and suppose a group of Indians, a group of Americans, a group of English, they are all sitting and talking, suddenly you will have your Deshbhakt will get up and say that, oh, Indians are not like that, oh no, British are not like that, oh, Russians are not like that. If you are among Indians, no, South Indians are not like that, North Indians. So somewhere or other in your Gramya Katha, in our gossip and Prajalpa, we bring in our, focus. So much so that I've seen devotees saying that, yeah, Amchi Maharaj hai. It means he's Maharashtrian, I am Maharashtrian. So he is our Maharaj. So we bring the whole transcendental dimension of Krishna consciousness to a material plane. So blaming others, finding fault with others, having Gramya Katha, Prajalpa, gossiping, because they are centered around a person's self-centered nature. Because they are somewhere or other attributing towards, a person's personal self. And last but not least, that, as I said, we can go on and on. But the most important, the fourth aspect of it is a person who will never be accountable. I will not take any accountability towards my action. So the first and all four of them are kind of interrelated, the way all four qualities about simplicity were interrelated. So my second reflection here is that which is extension of what is discussed in this current context, that somehow we should not become crooked. We should not fall prey to crookedness, because crookedness makes us to find Krishna consciousness very difficult. The fourth symptom that I mentioned is about non-existence of accountability. As a practicing devotee, I am supposed to be accountable. If I am given service, I am given a service, I am supposed to be doing it. If the service is not done correctly, I am supposed to take accountability. I stay put there till the service is completely handed over to the next person. Not that just I am, floating around just because somebody else, caught my attention. It's very important, especially if you see Srila Prabhupada's direct trained disciples, or Srila Prabhupada's disciples who got opportunity to directly serve with Srila Prabhupada. You will see them very, very wonderful in terms of their, being accountable. In terms of their being, very, very responsible and not self-centered. Every Vaishnava Acharya's Jivan Charitra, why are we encouraged to read and hear about the lifestyle of various devotees? It is not about their life's chronology, or who is their father, who is their mother, what is their hometown, what dress they wore, what food they eat. It is not about those details. It is about how did they respond to different intriguing, different perturbing, different irritating situations. One of Radhanath Maharaj used to give this as a important definition of what is tolerance. I exactly don't remember the verbatim, but he used to say that how a person responds to the most, intriguing, most perturbing, irritating situations, that defines how tolerant that person is. So crookedness will not attract Krishna. Krishna likes soft heart. Crookedness is hard-hearted. The person who is crooked is highly non-empathetic. He cannot empathize about what others will have to go through. He is only simply interested in his profiling. Third reflection. The third reflection is the most important one, because if you want to progress in Krishna consciousness, if you want to become the recipient of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, never associate with crooked and envious. It's a very bold statement, it is something very important for us to very carefully watch this. I'm not saying don't respect. I'm not saying that you are not able to, you are not supposed to talk to them. I'm saying association, which actually means serving together, heart to heart communication, sharing of your feelings, spending quality time together. Be careful with such people. Because we are growing the most rarest form of the seed which is not available anywhere and everywhere. Somehow we got it. Not by our endeavor. Somebody else's endeavor we got it. Somebody else's mercy we got it. So please preserve them by staying away from cricket. Because this human form of life is very rare and very important for us to organize ourselves in a forward journey. Many a times we get overwhelmed and we start to think our life based on how others are living. Because our yardstick is every mistake when I do or every apparent selfish behavior of mine, I take some reference from someone. That Prabhuji also did. No, Prabhu. This Mataji also did. That congregation also did. This Maharaj also did. That Mataji also did. Are you ready to take such a reference even for trying to be simple from like that example? No. That devotee is so great. How can I follow such an example? Oh, that devotee is so advanced. How will I be able to, follow that? It will take few lifetimes. You will make some lip service. If you see someone simple, just go and stay with him, beg at his feet, and wash his toilet. Do some menial service. And it is actually purifying. It's actually purifying. Look at the history. What did Ishwarapuri do? Did all menial service to Shripad Madhavendrapuri. You take every example of every glorious personalities. How did these Goswamis live? Because for somebody to be simple, they have to give up all upadis. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam tatparatyena nirmalam rishikena rishikesa sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So my third reflection is that how we have to align ourselves in such a way, we search and run after simple, humble Vaishnavas and try to not control them, be controlled by them. Because what happens is that sometimes we search for such humble Vaishnavas and try to become ati parichay, over familiar with them, and try to strike a card of equality with them. I have been through this, and I am saying this out of my experience. Because I have already lots of conditioning. When I see somebody humble, when I see somebody simple, you naturally take a superior position and try to kind of dictate your terms, and that person being very humble and simple will be very humble and simple to you. But he would be taking Krishna away, Krishna with him. You will be sitting with your own, nonsense. So my third reflection is that Krishna searches, finds, goes to every nook and corner of this world and handpicks simple soul, and he will simply allocate these crooked men to some future basket that you have to go through some more purification and then you can come. But for simple ones, he will handpick. At this time, I want to make a very simple note saying that your Krishna consciousness, it has nothing to do with how others are dealing with this world. Your Krishna consciousness is your responsibility. How many people, how much ever disturbance and problems they might give it to you, Your responsibility is not to respond to them. You are not answerable to them. That doesn't mean that don't show your arrogance. But I'm saying you are not supposed to be altering your performance or decision-taking capacity because they are behaving in a particular way to you. You are answerable to Krishna and Krishna is watching over you. If somebody is trying to cheat you, if somebody is trying to be influencing you, if somebody is trying to harass you, if somebody else is trying to be, mean to you, your one right is staying away from them without hurting them, without, showing them down. Stay away from them. We have full rights. Prabhuji, who will teach them lessons? That is another subject altogether. Somebody else has to learn to understand. This is a very important critical point. That how does these Vaishnavas, how does these great simple souls, they are able to manage to be successful because of their surroundings. Duty to go and defend on behalf of simple soul. So at no point in time, a simple soul is under failure. I'll repeat my point. A simple, humble soul may not retaliate, but nothing stops you in retaliating on his behalf if he is humiliated. So the duty of a servant of a simple soul is to make sure that nobody do nonsense with him. That is your service. So for example, there are 6 devotees who are simple. Each of them can protect the other 5. So technically all are protected. So I do not retaliate. By my design, I am humble and simple. Neither I expect remaining 5 of them will defend for me. But the remaining 5 of them are so tuned up to the Siddhanta that they are ready to defend and not make anyone do nonsense with you. This is Vaishnavism. That is why in Vaishnava lifestyle, they don't need to worry about anything. Even if these 5 men who are apparently servants or companions, if they don't defend, Krishna will personally come and defend. How much Prahlad Maharaj retaliated? If I say this example, people will hound, oh, Prahlad Maharaj, every time Prahlad Maharaj. Arey Baba, look at Prabhupada. How many people they retaliated, they came and gave all sorts of tough time to Prabhupada. And how did Prabhupada give response to them? Not by going and hounding at them, but him preaching and spreading the Sankirtan mission. And by the way of him growing the Sankirtan mission, he responded to all of them. And all those people who were showing, all attitudes to Prabhupada, they finally had to bow down to him. It is not that Prabhupada had that grudge, saying, okay, let me serve this, make this movement in such a big way, and I will retaliate them. That's also not Prabhupada's mood. It's a very subtle point. There is no mentality of revenge in the heart of a simple person. But simple person's servants should make sure nobody messes around with our master. That's your duty. If somebody tells anything about Prabhupada, we should be the first one to retaliate. So my third reflection is that don't associate with crooked people. So please try to create Sanga of simple people. We need more and more, simple people in this world. And I'll tell you that just by the virtue of we being simple, so many people will get attracted to you, and Krishna consciousness will thrive because this world is dearth of, there's a high shortage of simple people around there. So don't teach your child how to be crooked. Crookedness is something that will very easily, can be learned even if it has to be learned for some service purpose. But simplicity cannot be taught. Simplicity has to be endured. Somebody have to go through a process for becoming simple. And my fourth and last reflection is that what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned. My dear Sridhara, how did you reach this spot? How did you get this opportunity? You have endured for so many lifetimes, and in this lifetime, you have performed so much of service. So for us to be recipient also, it is not some, like a magic wand, it can happen. We do have a magic wand, we'll come to that. But the point is, Sridhara has become a very dearest devotee of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just because he had performed so much of service. Isopanishad, Mantra 17. What does Mantra 17 of Isopanishad says? My dear Lord, please remember all that service that I have done to you at the time of my death. It's a very interesting prayer. It is not about my arrogance. It is about my report. It is about my request. It is about my simplicity to say, my dear Lord, I am yours. Please remember me. Please take me with you. Please use me for your service. If you have not done any service, what report you will go and tell the Lord? So please read Mantra 17 of Isopanishad. So the fourth reflection is Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapatyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Why devotees are rare? Devotees are rare amongst devotees. Let me say this. I'm not sure if I am able to say what I want to say. It's an oxymoron. Devotees are rare even amongst devotees, which means we are all trying to become devotees, but to get that one who is going to be handpicked by Krishna, who is going to give us Krishna, who is going to make us way for us to relinquish all our extra baggages. That person is very rare. And how did he get that position? After several lives, and that too after performing lots of devotional service. The prayer that one of the shlokas that we read today is that it is because of so many things, so many lives, that shloka number 164 that we just read today. Oh, sorry. Shloka number 160. Where we just read today that in this life you have also served me so much. 157 and 158. 157. You have worshipped me so long. You have passed many lifetimes to obtain my love. 158. In this life you have also served me so much. So you just cannot by just some superior recommendation try to cut short some long route. We definitely, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we are anyway saving a long journey to become very short and easy. But then for getting to the real core devotional aspect, we'll have to perform devotional service, and devotional service refers to serving menially, humbly, simply to the lotus feet of a simple, humble Vaishnava who is great, glorious, and Krishna resides in his heart. So I would like to conclude by summarizing the 4 reflections that we did today. Number 1, simplicity is Vaishnavism. Number 2, crookedness makes Krishna conscious difficult. Number 3, never associate with crooked people. But please always try to protect the simple people by, fighting for them from the crooked people. And last but not least, always be engaged in the menial and humble services. Always be engaged in the menial and humble service of Vaishnavas, by which you will definitely get to become the recipient of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Any questions or comments or reflections? I'll be happy to respond.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. What a beautiful, beautiful question. Class, it was so nice. So many realizations that how we have to be, we have to always be gratitude, and we always need to be um, associating with the good people, how we should be responsible for everything that around us, and the main thing is we need to be more gratitude. We should not think that we are getting it everything by because of us. That is so nice, Prabhuji. So many lessons I have learned from this class, that how we should not be self-centered. We should always think for the main goal, that why we are in Krishna consciousness. We are in Krishna consciousness to serve, and humility, humbleness. All this is very much needed in Krishna consciousness. How we have to avoid associating with the crooked people, and also how we should not take examples for our fault mistakes. That I do some mistake and say, oh, that Mataji is doing this, Mataji is doing that. Really, always I feel that I try to give that examples and cover my mistakes in myself. That realizations are so nice, Prabhuji. Very, very, very beautiful class. So, Prabhu, you said that you should not associate it with that self-centered people or crooked people. So, what if like we have to do together services? So we just do our duty and just go away from there. How do we manage?
Well, thanks for your kind words. Last class I mentioned a point. I'm not sure if you remember. Then we do Sanga. Sanga is of four types, or four parts. One, with whom we associate. Number two, with whom we share. Number three, with whom we teach. Number four, with whom we do transactions. And associate means I serve, I ask questions, I learn. Share means they are my equals, friends with whom I take help, I give help, we exchange our realizations. Teach is to those who are new, I extend myself and give my love towards them. And transaction is with those people with whom I can't deal with any of these three things, but they are part of my life. So what we call as working relationship. In all of them, we are supposed to maintain respect. In all of them, we are supposed to be gentle. But we always have a choice where I want to obey and surrender, and where I want to not follow or not obey. I mean, it's a very funny word in English. If you look at Acharya's lifestyle, they have been always respectful, but they never followed nonsense. They never supported nonsense. They were very bold and strong on that. So if there are any tough candidates, please note those tough candidates are given to you because something that the Lord wants to change in us. Whether that the tough candidate is our family member, whether that the tough candidate is somebody who is near and dear one. Because many times we go and cry to Krishna, why him in my life? Why her in my life? Why them in my life? Why in so-and-so situation? So the idea is that these tough people, tough situation, in spite of all your prayers, all your wonderful service, all your blessings you got, means Krishna wants to perform some operation on you. So surgery is going on. So don't run away in the middle of the surgery. It might bring in a new disease. So let the surgery be complete. And sometimes the surgery may take longer time for us to even realize that there is a surgery happening on me. It will take some time. All through the while, we would have been blaming the Lord. Oh, why? I did donation, I did services. So all through the while, we would have been blaming. But at a later point in time, we will realize that it was an operation on me. Such a bad candidate in my life is an operation on me. Some operation is going on. Sometimes the Lord gives anesthesia. Sometimes the Lord won't give you anesthesia. He will perform live, handling of it. It's not a rudeness on the Lord's part. It is about the way, like how a father teaches a child. The child sometimes will think that, oh my God, this is a crazy guy. Why he is not understanding my feelings? But the same small child, when he grows up at a later point in time, will appreciate, Dad, what you did on that day was appropriate. I would have really got lost if I had, insisted on what I wanted. Somehow I surrendered. So for all those tough ones, any tough relationship association that you get, I would say you should thank Krishna and see how you are going to handle yourself, because every day I'm learning this in my house. I mean, every day I'm learning this in my dealings with my near and dear ones. Because when any tough things are coming upon you, I fail, I lose, then I say, oh my God, I should not have reacted this way. I should not have reacted this way. I should not have reacted this way. So I guess we needed more and more such lessons to eventually come to terms. So any tough ones, probably, we should be very careful. On one condition, that if the tough ones eventually comes in the way of your safety of your Krishna consciousness, if those tough ones comes in the way of your safety of your existence, your sanity, then you can find some alternative association. So long as they are within the boundary of, tolerable boundary, or what you may call as, manageable boundary, with other supporting elements, you are able to have supportive association, supportive service opportunities, encouraging, seniors to you, then these tough ones are supposed to be, seen as an opportunity for you to correct yourself. But eventually it comes to your own spiritual safety. If it's one coming to your own, sanity, then I guess there's nothing wrong in, separating ourselves from that Sangha with the help of seniors. Making sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for making us understand how we have to deal. And it is just, Krishna is trying to teach me some lesson through that particular relationship that which I have to deal. Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. And also, I really like that point that we should always respect everyone. It's okay to disagree and it's okay to disassociate, but we should not disrespect them. That is really very, very nice, Prabhuji. If we don't like someone, we just move away from them, but we don't speak bad about them. Don't disrespect them. That is really very, very nice. Very thank you, Prabhu, for such a beautiful, beautiful class. And there are some questions in the chat box, Prabhu.
Yeah, I am seeing that. So, Revati Priya Mataji, so should we mention to them, if you are serving with them, that their behavior is upsetting us and making us sad? Because if they continue their behavior, we might end up leaving the service. So, my response is something similar to what I just said. We have three options. If the person who is being referred here, if they are juniors to you, or if the relationship is allowing you to communicate in a healthy manner, because sometimes our communications are also misconstrued. So if it allows, we can definitely communicate. And number two, if it is possible that you can take someone else's help to communicate without making it complicated, you can definitely do that. And if you see that that particular behavior is going to affect a larger community, then it is also absolutely right to escalate it to a spiritual authority without any personal motive that I will settle my score by escalating and trying to mess around. These points that we are discussing. I mean, they are all technically nice to hear, but the moment we are trying to apply it in our own lives, it takes a lot of attitude, lot of courage, lot of working that will go in. You might need to endure, think about this, because we are tuned to be a reflex action people. And our reflex action is tit for tat. Our reflex action should not be tit for tat. Our reflex action should be para dukkha dukhi, para sukha sukhi. So that tendency is very, very much missing because of our crookedness, which we are carrying for some time. So if we have to communicate, there's nothing wrong in communicating. In fact, it is good to communicate. But how do you communicate? Either directly or through somebody's help, or by escalating, or by by having your own behavior, trying to be they say, I'm not sure I keep giving Tamil references. There's a very nice saint by name Thiruvalluvar. He says, Inna Seidarai Uruttal, our Nana Nannayam Seidu Vidal. He says that those who are being mean to you, you please do good to them so that they, feel ashamed. The moment I say this to the current generation, they say those days are gone, Prabhu. Nowadays, people understand the language of tit for tat. If you do anything good to them, they'll take undue advantage of you and go. That's where I gave this point about you should always do things in a simple manner. And it is a duty of your friends, your devotee companions to protect you. Because a generally simple person, humble person will not talk for himself, will not fight for himself, will not lobby for himself. But you should do for him. You should do for her. Because you know that that person on his own, even though that person may not even, thought about some things like that. If you want to know examples, the example is in 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sati was upset when Daksha did not invite Lord Shiva. Daksha had humiliated Lord Shiva left, right, center. 4th canto, 2nd chapter. Lord Shiva didn't mind. But when Sati, set fire to herself, Lord Shiva, he literally, got on his shoes. He created Veerabhadra and chopped off Daksha's head. So the idea was, when it was upon him, being targeted, Shivaji didn't, bother at all. But when it happens to his servants, the reason Lord Shiva had to react that way was, he didn't want to set a wrong precedence. You can only tolerate nuisance happening to you. You cannot tolerate happening to all your friends. Oh, please tolerate. You cannot say that. All of you, please tolerate. All of you, please tolerate his arrogance. You cannot say that. Tolerance is for self-application. Simplicity is for self-application. You be simple, you eat khichdi. But when somebody is visiting your house, please make chapan bhog. You make very nice feast. That is Vaishnava tradition. Oh, Prabhu, you know what? We all follow very humble Vaishnava tradition. When you come to my house, I'll give you saltless chapati or, very simple, khichdi. You cannot say that. So the idea is that we need to it's a very tricky thing. That is why Vaishnavism is, a very special part. So I'm not sure if I responded to Revati Priya Mataji's point.
Perfect, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Sometimes humility also can be seen as somebody who's very scared of things,
Yes.
which is fine. It can be mistaken as a lot of things, a non-assertive person or a non-confident person or a scared person, which is fine. I think Krishna understands, and that's all we need to see, that Krishna knows my heart, my mind, and my thoughts. But sometimes what happens is that if somebody's mistreating you repeatedly, then others might learn from them as well to mistreat you and see you as a softer target. Maybe not a target, but a softer person. So in that case, I don't know if, you could call a person and say, this is upsetting. I do want to continue my service. I do want to be, doing this. Yeah, it can be very complicated, but your points have really helped me and put my mind to rest a lot. Thank you very much.
So just to quickly respond on the soft target part, I hear you, and this is a pretty major problem nowadays, and that's why Prabhupada gives in one lecture a very interesting point. He says, a Vaishnava is as soft as a lotus petal and as hard as a thunderbolt. So the point here is, you are being soft target is not our problem, should not be our problem technically, so long as it is not coming in the way of my service, so long as it is not coming in the way of my spiritual sanity. If it is coming in the way, then we can definitely respond in every possible way, and we will not be able to justify in which all possible way, because it varies from circumstance to circumstance. But definitely we can respond. With respect to what others would feel about you, there is a very famous story about a father, son, and they had a donkey. They had a baggage to carry. They were leaving from one place to another place. So they kept the load on the donkey's back, and the father and son and the donkey along with the load on the back were walking. A person who came and said that you guys are idiots. This old man is walking. Why can't you put the old man on the donkey and let the small young guy carry the load? So that made a lot of sense. So this boy put the old man on the donkey and took the load on him, and he was walking. Another fellow came. Said, what a cruel person this guy is. Small boy is carrying the workload, the heavy load. Should he not put his son on the donkey and maybe walk? So there are opinions about everything that you do, both from devotee corners as well as from outside world. If we start to respond to each of them, probably we will not be able to function. That is why we are all expected to have some close quarters association with whom we can share our heart. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing in his essay, Bhaktya Loka. I have mentioned about this book a couple of times in this forum. There's a book called Bhaktya Loka. There is a book called Vaishnava K. There are some books which are soul-stirring books. So where we can see how to conduct ourselves. Because Krishna consciousness is not about Panditya. Krishna consciousness is not about the articulation, communication. Krishna consciousness is not about your skills. Krishna consciousness is not about mantras. Krishna consciousness is not about external qualities at all. Krishna consciousness means, by simplicity is Vaishnavism. How you are able to, perform your devotional service as a menial servant of the Supreme Lord, undeterred by all the surroundings and circumstances. And very soon, it might take a long time, because our problem is we also want to see the result of this pretty quick. It might take few years, few hundred years, maybe few lifetimes. So what is the problem? Because our focus is Bhagavad-dham. Our focus is to be part of the army. I want to join the army of the Lord. I want to become a soldier in that, battalion. All the other agendas are side agendas. So if that is the only focus, then we can move forward. That doesn't mean that I am just oblivious to all these people. I am disrespecting them. A Vaishnava can know how to conduct themselves very well. Oh, Prabhuji, that Mataji, ate Jain food in that place. This Prabhu is having watching cinema in his house. There's these devotee family, they do web series in their house. So I guess as a devotees, these are all allowed. These are not the yardsticks for us. Our yardsticks is our sincerity, so Krishna will also proportionately respond. Yeyatam mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. The most important way Krishna would respond is, Kunti Maharani writes, Prabhupada gives a superb purport. He says, he will make you akinchana gochara, materially impoverished. So be prepared. So Krishna conscious journey, as we move forward, is going to be very exciting. To make it easier, we have to encourage to come together. All simple-minded people should come together, should come closer. You will have so much happiness when you all come together and all are simple-minded people around. So you will feel very lighter. So, and that way we can, hope that in this life, we will be able to, bring in a smile on the face of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Indebted to you. Much gratitude. Thank you very much. I'm so glad I tuned in today. I'm not able to due to the time difference, but Krishna wanted me to be here today, I think. So thank you. Hare Krishna and pranams.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the detailed explanation. Very, very grateful.
So Anita Mataji has something to say, so let me read that. That's not applicable, Prabhu, for all times. Tolerance is really strugglesome. Like the point you said, Krishna is doing surgery, but we can't keep away from family relations if they aren't supportive. And Mahaprabhu says, Asat Sanga Tyaga. Devotees say, tolerate. How to understand this? Sure. I can relate to what you're saying. It's like this. There's a word called best use of the bad bargain. Can we learn to see Krishna's hand behind every action? I used to always say this to some of my students, that I chant nicely, sincerely. I do all my endeavors to practice Krishna consciousness nicely. But still, challenges and such situations that you mentioned comes our way. How do I respond to those situations? One obvious answer, at least theoretically, I'm not sure if I have even myself practiced this, but one obvious answer is, can I at least able to see Krishna's hand behind everything that is? Because I have surrendered myself, my spiritual master has accepted me, I am in the devotional journey, but I'm still, making a struggle journey, limping. Which means there is some communication coming my way. I have not tuned my frequency. In those days, there is the television antenna. So unless and otherwise the antenna is in the right position, you will only get distorted, reception. So similarly, we will have to constantly work on tuning to say why. I agree we cannot ignore our family. I agree we cannot run away from our family responsibilities. I agree we have to serve, our family members. We do have to. So we do have to go through some conditional responsibilities, and there is associated purification. The austerity that we do towards your family is expected of you, because that also purifies you, cleanses you of your residual karma, anartha, whatever you may call. Karma, if you are not a surrendered or a initiated soul. And, the effect of karma, or the after effects of, some uncleanliness. So that is getting cleansed even after, surrendering to spiritual master. The cleansing process is still on. It is explained in Anartha Nivritti, not all anarthas get cleansed. Up till the stage of bhava, anarthas are there and they need to be cleansed. In Anartha Nivritti stage, gross anarthas are cleansed. But from Anartha Nivritti till bhava, out of the 9 stages, there are some more minor, particles of anarthas that have to be cleansed. That cleansing happens. So what we need to understand is that when such a dichotomic situation, one time devotee says tolerate, immediately our head says that, have you ever been this experience, Prabhu? You should experience this to say this tolerate. You guys easily say tolerate, that you should go through this experience. Don't think others are not going through. Everybody is going through. Every devotee is going through his or her quota of experience. In Tamil, there is a saying, the tail of a dog is measured and kept. A cow's tail is not kept for a dog. A buffalo's tail is not kept for a horse. A horse's tail is not kept for a cow. Everybody's tail is measured. So what portion of pain I may have to go through is based on, number 1, my past, number 2, my present. So keep learning. Otherwise, we do not have any other choice. This is the best use of the bad bargain. You cannot do anything else. You cannot just give up your family, run away and do something else. Neither just blabbering around and, blaming Krishna, blaming process is going to help. The only thing is that, can I learn some lessons? Can I create a better environment for my near and dear ones? Can I try to, improve upon myself and try to learn to respond to the situations in a much better way? Can I, by my conduct, change those who are rude to me? Easily said than done, but that's the response that I could think of. Any other questions, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept my humble obeisance. Prabhupada. Prabhuji, like whatever all the realizations you have told, yeah, I just connect to all of them because I literally need to implement them in my life. And at one point of time, like when I was like 2 to 3 years back, I was in a state that I just used to leave everything to Krishna. If anyone used to tell me anything, also, I was in a state that I was not reacting to them. I was happy that time. Like the tolerance was there. But from last 2 3 years, even though like at that time I was not chanting Prabhuji, but from past 2 3 years, like I'm chanting my rounds. I'm chanting 16. Mostly I will try to do 16. Sometimes 10, but mostly now from past 1 year I'm trying to do 16. But somehow my tolerance level is reducing, I feel, Prabhuji, and I'm reacting to things. I feel like I wish that I go to that state where I was not reacting to the people, whatever they say. I used to say, Krishna, please take care. You only take care. I'm not going to react. I was having that tolerance, but now the tolerance has reduced. So what is the fault that I'm doing, Prabhuji?
There is no fault. It is part of the process. There are two things. That one is, sometimes when we are, say for example, I thought that I am struggling here. Somebody said that you come here, you will not struggle. So when I developed that desire, developed that faith, developed that shraddha, and started moving in here, because I had prolonged experience of pain and bitter experiences in this path, there is a natural expectation of me to get everything here overnight. I'll give this example. A girl or even a boy had a bitter adult, youthhood, who were distressed, very, troublesome parenting, troublesome neighborhood. So everybody said that maybe when you get married, when you get a life partner, when you get, a better arrangement, you may have a better arrangement, a better situation. So what happens is that when we immediately get married, our expectations naturally that the result should come faster, otherwise we get a little restless. Radha Gopinath Prabhu, gave in a very nice class. He said, when we have not chanted our rounds, our heart is full of dirt, but there is an apparent calmness, which is called ignorance. When we are completely purified, our heart is completely clean, and it is absolutely calm because it is clean. But that is a mode of goodness. But when you are in the intermittent stage, there is cleansing happening. So he said, when cleansing happening, some kacharas, some dirt, some uselessness will come out. And when they come out, you will naturally see that a sort of a unsettled state. Previously I was calm, but that was ignorance. I'm aiming towards the calm, that was goodness, pure goodness. Now I'm apparently seeing some sort of a turbulence, but the turbulence is part of cleansing process in general. I mean, if I can give a technical answer, maybe there are more details, there are more associated informations which your seniors might help you to sail through. But as you are practicing Krishna consciousness through this journey, it is not that your tolerance is coming down. Maybe it is coming down, not coming down. That can be separately measured. Probably our eagerness is increased, that I want to get to see the result sooner. I want to get Krishna Prem faster. I want to become an advanced devotee faster. I want to become this faster. But There is nothing called faster. We have to go through this journey of purification. And sometimes in Madhya Kadamani, there is a wonderful definition for this. They say, in Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, when your devotional service is not strongly situated, there are 6 symptoms. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in Madhya Kadamani. One of the symptoms, he says, is your moods sway between 2 extremes. Suddenly you find yourself extremely, ecstatic. Suddenly you find yourself extremely, in Maya. So you sway between both extremes. That is nature of your being unsettled in, your bhajana. And the only answer is keep doing the bhajana and follow the devotional symptoms. Things will all get settled. Because our new Krishna conscious life, because I am a new rich man. The new rich man, I was poor. Suddenly I became rich. For example, today I am blessed with $50 million. You will know, I will not know how to handle myself. I will go crazy. So we are all new rich people. We were poor. Suddenly we became rich. So we need some time to handle this richness. We need to go through some sort of polishing for this richness to settle. To realize this richness is not the end of it. There is much, much more that I need to accomplish, because this richness is just beginning of my success in devotional life. There is something more that I need to do. So this apparent, less amount of tolerance or the apparent agitation sometimes comes from over expectations. It is also attributing that when we are not able to tolerate, it is because of extra love towards the process, that I am not able to tolerate anything that contributes against this. For example, I have become a parent. Before I was not a parent. Now I am parent. Before, my in-laws, my relatives, they were, taunting me. I was taking it on myself. But now they are taunting my child. So something is coming upon my child, I will not be able to tolerate. I will immediately respond back. So if our love towards Krishna consciousness increased, but we do not know how to handle that love properly, at that time also we will get some sort of a agitated response. But I guess sincere prayer, sincere endeavor to Krishna to say that Krishna, I would like to be stable in my Krishna consciousness, that request will make it these activities very much sustainable. Very soon that normalcy will achieve. So please continue your association with the like-minded devotees and stable sadhana. I'm sure you'll get the happy stage.
Sure, Prabhu. Thanks for, at least giving me that confidence that I can continue doing this. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Please,
Krishna.
never give up. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I think there are chat messages. I don't know if they have questions. Yeah, I don't think so. There is any question. I think realizations. Thank you, Prabhuji, once again for such a beautiful class and very nice question answer session. I would like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhyabhajapatitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo nama. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Great Ramgiridhāri Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, dear
Hare
devotees.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.